kitchen, your coffee's getting cold. You're reading something on the sofa with your glasses sitting low.
I turn the television down.
You ask, why'd you do that?
I say no reason.
Truth is, I just like hearing you laugh.
You fall asleep by 9:30, though you swear you never do. I take the book out of your hand and pull the blanket over you.
There's a photograph above us from the summer of '85.
Two people certain they knew everything, trying to figure out their lives.
We wanted bigger houses,
we wanted distant views.
Funny how after all these years
I only want more of this with you. Give me a little more time with you.
Another morning at the table,
another ordinary Sunday,
doing nothing if we're able.
A little more time with you.
No grand promise, nothing new.
If I could ask tomorrow for one thing,
I'd ask a little more time with you. We've missed trains and paid late bills,
painted rooms we didn't like,
raised two children through the noise,
stayed awake through half the nights.
We have said things we regretted,
learned when not to prove we're right,
and somehow all those imperfect years
made this quiet evening ours. Give me a little more time with you.
Another winter, another springtime,
another argument about direction,
another hand reaching for mine.
a little more time with you. Let the years do what they do.
I don't need forever all at once,
just a little more time with you. Do you remember when we thought
we needed everything?
a bigger house,
A newer car,
more money,
more vacations.
more time.
That one was right. Tomorrow morning,
Coffee at 7,
same table.
where else? Give me a little more time with you.
Let tomorrow find us slowly.
Curtains open, kettle singing,
Morning sunlight in the hallway.
a little more time with you.
That's enough to wish for now,
Not because our life was perfect,
but because it became ours.
let the calendar keep turning.
Let the years keep passing through.
All I ever really need is a little more time with you.
Same chair, same room.
Morning coming much too soon. I don't need more from life, I just want more of it with you. Quarter past 11, city disappearing in my mirror. Navigation says take Highway 9, but But tonight I don't want quicker. So I turn onto the old road where the fields begin to show. Roll the driver's window halfway down and take the long way home. One hand on the wheel, one old song playing low. Sometimes you need a little distance before you know where you wanna go. This is a song for the long way home, for the headlights on an empty road, for every tired heart still driving toward a little porch light glowing. A song for the long way home, when you've carried all you can. Sometimes home is nothing more than somewhere you can put it down. There's a gas station near the county line, still open after 12. A man is sweeping by the doorway, radio playing to himself. I buy coffee I don't really need. He says, long night, I smile. Long week, he laughs. Then you better get home. This is a song for the long way home, for the towns that disappear behind you, for the windows glowing in the distance, making strangers wonder who lives there. A song for the long way home, for the miles that clear your mind. Every road looks different when there's somewhere at the end. At 1:13 I cross the river, the one that means I'm almost there. My shoulders finally start relaxing before I even see the stairs. No celebration waiting, no one standing at the door, just the hallway light I left on 7 hours before. And suddenly, that's enough. No applause, no grand arrival, just keys turning in a familiar door. This is my song for the long way home, for the miles that brought me back here, for the shoes beside the doorway and the quiet waiting upstairs. A song for the long way home, let tomorrow wait till dawn. shelf above the closet behind Dad's winter socks. No ribbon tied around it, no dates written on the side. Just 100 folded pieces of ordinary family life.
None of them said say this, none were written for someday. They survived because somebody never threw the words away. Letters we never meant to keep, sleeping underneath the dust.
Little words we wrote too quickly when forever wasn't us.
Letters we never meant to keep now are all that's left to say.
How an ordinary family loved in ordinary ways.
One was Dad's from 1970, written while he was away. Tell your mother I'll be home before the roses bloom in May. Then one from me at summer camp. The food is bad, please come. Mom had written underneath it. She lasted 3 more days. Letters we never meant to keep held the jokes we had forgotten.
Shopping lists and birthday wishes, words that never seemed profound.
Letters we never meant to keep, didn't know what they'd become.
Little pieces of the voices of the people we came from.
Near the bottom was a note in my mother's handwriting.
Only 6 words, I'm still angry, dinner at 6.
On the back Dad had written, still sorry, I'll be there.
I sat on the floor laughing, then crying, because somehow that was their whole marriage in 12 words.
Not poetry,
not promises,
dinner at 6.
I'll be there.
Maybe love often
Sounds exactly like that.
letters we never meant to keep. Now I'll place them back together,
Not because each word was precious,
but because the voices were. Letters we never meant to keep, carry years no photograph can.
all the little conversations that became a family.
Someday someone may read mine
And wonder why I save these things.
Maybe ordinary words survive,
Because ordinary life means everything.
1 box, 12 words, 40 years between the lines. They never wrote their history, they accidentally left it behind. Dad bought the cabin in '78 before the road was paved.
3 small rooms and 1 old dock,
and every cent he'd saved. This year the realtor called us, said the papers would be signed.
so we chose 1 week in August
To go back one final time.
David came from Denver, Sarah drove in from the coast. I brought both the children, you brought enough food for 20 folks.
By sunset every bedroom had a suitcase on the floor.
And somehow after all these years, we were children there once more.
Nobody said the final summer,
Nobody wanted to,
we just opened every window
like we always used to do. 1 last summer at the lake, 1 more morning off the old dock,
1 more dinner by the water,
1 more fire after dark. 1 last summer at the lake,
don't make every moment sad.
let us spend it like the summers
We never knew were all we had.
The kids found Dad's old fishing poles,
And broke 1 before noon.
Sarah burned the hamburgers.
David blamed the barbecue,
We laughed until the neighbors
called across the lake.
some things never change over there.
For 1 week they were right.
1 last summer at the lake, let the children splash till sunset.
Let the towels cover every chair.
Let the screen door slam again.
1 last summer at the lake, we don't need to say goodbye.
Some places know exactly what they meant without us telling them why.
Sunday morning came too quickly. We stripped the beds,
Swept the kitchen,
closed the windows.
David asked.
Should we take 1 last picture?
Sarah shook her head.
We've got enough.
So we stood on the porch for a minute.
Nobody said anything.
Then I locked the door. One key left on the kitchen counter.
1 empty house.
A lake still moving as if nothing had happened.
That last summer at the lake,
Didn't end when we drove away.
every child inside, those grown-ups,
Still knows how the water felt.
that last summer at the lake.
It wasn't something we could save,
But a place doesn't disappear.
just because someone else gets the key.
Let another family find it.
Let their children learn that sure.
We already took what mattered.
Long before we closed the door.
1 lake,
1 key,
1 key,
40 summers.
in between.
We sold the cabin,
We kept the summers. the books last Sunday, put the photographs away. Found your coffee cup behind the plates and boxed it up the same. Then I walked into the dining room and stopped beside the chair. That faded blue wool sweater was somehow still hanging there. You left it there one winter night, said you'd get it when you went. Funny how the smallest things can outlive what they meant. Your sweater on the back of my chair, still falling from the shoulder. Like you walk into the kitchen and complain the room is colder. Your sweater on the back of my chair should be easy to remove, but sometimes letting go of something has nothing to do with what it's worth. I don't smell your perfume on it that disappeared long ago. There's a tiny thread unraveling near the sleeve you used to roll. I almost put it in the garbage, then laughed at what I'd done. A sweater isn't sacred, but neither was it nothing. Your sweater on the back of my chair, watch the seasons through the window. Summer sunlight, Christmas mornings, all the ordinary days. Your sweater on the back of my chair never asked me to hold on. It was only waiting quietly for me to decide where it belonged. So tonight I took it down, folded one sleeve, then the other, smoothed the collar with my hand. Not because I wanted you back, not because I finally didn't. I just thought maybe the chair has held it long enough. Put it in the cedar box upstairs, not hidden, not displayed, just kept. Your sweater isn't on the chair. Tomorrow morning when I enter, there'll be nothing on the wooden back but sunlight through the window. Your sweater isn't on the chair, and the room still feels like home. Maybe letting go is simply giving memory somewhere else to go. I don't need to throw it out, I don't need it sitting there, somewhere between holding and forgetting. There's a box and an empty chair. One sweater, one box, one chair finally bare. I didn't throw the memory away, I only moved it.
27, I was sitting on my bedroom floor, letter on the table saying I had missed the mark once more.
I called you without thinking.
You answered.
You okay?
I said
No.
Then after half a minute,
Wanna drive? You were waiting by the corner in that oversized gray coat. I had half a tank of gasoline and nowhere else to go.
you climbed in and turned the radio to something much too loud.
I said, where are we going?
You smiled.
Out. No map, no destination.
No advice we wanted then.
Sometimes when your life won't move, you move yourself instead. When we drove until sunrise, city lights fell far behind us. Every mile made all the questions
Feel a little less important.
when we drove until sunrise.
Windows open to the night.
We didn't solve a single problem.
We just kept the wheels alive.
Till we crossed the county line,
At 3 we found an all-night store
bought terrible coffee and a map.
that never used the map at all.
At 4 you finally told me.
Maybe I'll try the test again.
I said, maybe I'll quit on Monday.
And suddenly we both could laugh.
When we drove until sunrise,
Every road became permission not to know exactly where our lives were supposed to go.
when we drove until sunrise,
We were tired but somehow lighter. Sometimes hope is just a highway getting brighter by the mile.
at 5:40 we found the ocean.
Completely by accident,
We parked beside the empty beach.
you said,
We're just in time.
for what?
Then the horizon turned orange. We stood there
Holding gas station coffee. No answers, no plan, just morning. And somehow that was enough. When we drove until sunrise, we watched darkness leave the water.
every problem came back with us.
But it didn't feel as heavy.
When we drove until sunrise,
weathered house our grandfather built in '69. Blue curtains in the kitchen, shelves lined up along the stairs. And somehow every summer, everyone eventually got there. The windows never closed quite right, the roof complained in rain, but every June we opened up the door and home began again. The summer house by the sea, where the song lived in the windows, where our towels hung from railings and our shoes were full of sand. The summer house by the sea never needed to be perfect, it just needed all of us there and the ocean close at hand. Dad would wake before the sunrise, Mom made breakfast much too soon. Grandma read beside the window, Grandpa slept all afternoon. Then we grew and brought our children to the bedrooms we once knew, watching little feet run down the hallway like the years were starting new. The summer house by the sea held the generations lightly. Every photograph looked different, but the doorway stayed the same. The summer house by the sea watched the family getting older, while each August left another little memory in its frame. The winter storm came harder than anyone expected. By spring the western wall was gone, the foundation badly cracked. Uncle James said we can rebuild it. Dad looked toward the sea, then quietly said, maybe we've already had what this house was meant to give. 3 years later, we went back. No house, just grass, the old stone steps, and the sea. The summer house by the sea isn't standing there anymore, but the children still run laughing down the path toward the shore. The summer house by the sea was never really walls and windows, it was everybody coming back, no matter where they'd been. So we spread the blankets on the grass where the kitchen used to be, and somehow we were home again beside the same old sea. No roof, no door, still the waves along the shore. The house disappeared, the summer stayed. inside a little town. Orange cones and flashing arrows sent the traffic turning south. Navigation kept repeating, make a U-turn when you can. Then I saw a narrow gravel road that wasn't on the map. No highway sign, no painted line, just dust beneath the trees. Common sense said turn around, curiosity disagreed. I took the road that never made the map, past the fences and the cornfields, past a mailbox leaning sideways and a bridge that looked too old. The road that never made the map didn't promise where it led. Sometimes that's the only reason you should follow it instead. 20 miles became a village with one store and one red light. An old woman sold me lemonade and asked where I was driving. I showed the map across my phone. She laughed, that thing won't help you here. Then drew a little road in pencil and said, take this one. I took the road that never made the map, down beside a quiet river, through a field of yellow flowers, to a town I'd never planned. The road that never made the map gave me nothing I could buy, just an afternoon I still remember, and a different piece of sky. Near sunset I found the highway, 40 miles from where I'd been. Navigation calmly told me, route resumed. I laughed so hard I had to pull aside. For 3 hours I'd been completely lost, and for once I hadn't minded. Maybe not every wrong turn needs correcting. Maybe some roads only appear after you miss the one you meant to take. Take the road that never made the map, when the ordinary highway feels like everybody's answer to a question that's your own. Take the road that never made the map. You don't always need to know, some destinations only find you when you stop deciding where to go. Let the GPS keep talking, let it tell me turn around. Somewhere past the route it gave me was the best thing that I found. No sign, no map, just a dusty little track. I thought I'd taken the wrong road. Maybe I finally took my own.
One more song too loud inside the car. One more wrong turn after midnight. One more night in this old town before tomorrow pulls me out. I don't need to make forever. I just wanna live this one right now. We stopped at Charlie's Burger stand, still open after 10. The owner looked across the counter. Haven't seen you boys since when? We ordered what we always did, though nobody eats that way. Then drove behind the high school where we wasted half our days. Give me one more night in this old town. Take me down beside the river, past the theater with the broken sign, past the field we thought was bigger. One more night in this old town. Let me see it while I can. Tomorrow I'll be chasing something. Tonight I know exactly where I At 2 a.m. beside the river, Tommy finally asked, "You scared?" I said, "Yeah." Danny laughed. Good means you're actually going. Nobody said we'd stay in touch forever. Nobody promised nothing would change. Peter just raised his paper cup to whatever comes next. 4 cups, 1 river, 1 town, getting smaller before I'd even left. Give me one more night in this old town. Let the morning wait a little. One more chorus through the open windows. One more drive across the bridge. One more night in this old town, then I'll take whatever comes. You don't have to stay forever for a place to be where you're from. Let tomorrow find me leaving. Let the highway take me out. Tonight these streets still know my name, and that's enough for now. Old town, 4 friends, 1 night we couldn't keep. We didn't promise we'd never change. We promised nothing and meant everything.
There's a little restaurant downtown with a faded wooden door. We've been coming here so many years, I stopped counting long before. First time you brought me here, you couldn't pay for wine, so we shared one cup of coffee at the table by the window until closing time. The waiter used to call us kids, then one day he stopped. Funny how you don't notice growing older until somebody else does. A table beside the window, two chairs underneath the light, watching strangers cross the sidewalk while we talked away the night. The table beside the window held more years than we could see. Every time the door swung open, another life walked in with me. Later we brought both the children. They spilled everything they touched. You complained about the prices, then ordered everyone too much. Years later they stopped joining us, had their own lives by then. So the table that had grown to four quietly became two again. A table beside the window, birthday candles, anniversary wine, arguments we don't remember, apologies that took some time. A table beside the window never asked us who we'd been. It just waited every year for us to come and sit again. Tonight the young waiter asked me, table for one. Then the owner saw me from across the room. He walked over slowly, didn't ask where you were. He already knew. He only said, your usual table? I looked toward the window. Yes, please. One menu, one glass, two chairs. I left yours where it always was. Not because I expected you, because I didn't need to pretend you had never been there. A table beside the window still looks out on the same street. People hurry past in winter. Summer sunlight warms the sea. A table beside the window tonight holds only me. But empty chairs aren't always empty when they're filled with memory. Let them clear away the dishes, let them turn the lights down low. Somewhere in these 40 years we're still sitting by the window. One table, two chairs, 40 years still sitting there. Tonight I came alone, I didn't arrive by myself.
left in early September with one suitcase and a coat. I stood beside the airport window till your airplane disappeared.
You called me from another country, said the ocean looks so wide.
I said meet me where it ends someday.
You laughed.
Then I'll be waiting a long time.
For a while we rode on Sundays, then the Sundays slipped away.
Different jobs in different cities,
different lives began to stay.
still whenever I saw the ocean, I remembered what you said.
Some ridiculous old promise
That somehow never left. Maybe promises don't disappear.
just because they're late.
Maybe some of them keep waiting
Until we're
ready for the date.
meet me where the ocean ends,
Where the blue runs into forever.
where the years between our lives
Can't tell us who we are together.
meet me where the ocean ends. I know no such place exists.
So meet me somewhere by the water.
And we'll call the shoreline it. Your message came last winter.
Are you ever back this way?
I typed a dozen different answers.
Then erased them all and said,
June 18th, 7:30.
at the beach we used to know.
I looked at those words for a minute.
Then answered,
I'll be there. Meet me where the ocean ends.
not to change the years behind us.
Not to ask what might have happened
If the distance hadn't found us.
meet me where the ocean ends. Bring the life that you became.
I'll bring mine and we'll discover
If we still remember our names.
I arrived at 7:15.
I was already there.
Of course you were.
You're still always late.
You looked exactly.
Don't say it
I was gonna say,
like yourself.
no movie kiss, no running, no dramatic music, just hello.
Hello.
And 40 years standing quietly between us.
Meet me where the ocean ends.
Maybe this is close enough now.
Same old waves and different faces.
Same horizon stretching out.
Meet me where the ocean ends. We don't need to start again.
Some reunions aren't beginnings.
Some are simply finding friends.
Let the ocean keep on going.
Past the reach of where we stand.
We finally kept an impossible promise.
On a little strip of sand.
Same sea, same shore.
Two people who aren't young anymore.
The ocean
passion never ended. The waiting finally did.
Found a cafe by accident on a street I used to know. Same little bell above the doorway, same cracked tiles below. The tables all were different, but the corner looked the same. So I sat beside the window and ordered coffee in the rain. Then I saw the writing on the wall, names beneath the years, hundreds of forgotten promises still somehow waiting there. Your name on an old cafe wall, faded underneath the others. Two small names and 1987 written close beside each other. Your name on an old cafe wall didn't hurt the way I thought it might. Some memories don't ask us to return, they only ask to be remembered right. I could almost hear you laughing, saying, write it smaller, Dan. You were worried someone knew us, I was sure nobody cared. We thought writing down our names would make forever understand. Funny how forever sometimes means a few good years and letting go. I wondered where you live now, if you ever passed this way. Then realized I didn't need to know to wish you well today. Your name on an old cafe wall, still beside the boy I used to be. I don't know the woman you've become, you don't know the man in me. Your name on an old cafe wall wasn't asking me to stay, it was only proof that once upon a time we loved each other anyway. I reached into my coat to take a picture with my phone, then stopped. Some things don't need another copy just because we found them again. So I put the phone away, finished what was left, and touched the table once before I stood to leave. I didn't add the date, I didn't trace the letters, I didn't write. Still here because we weren't, and that's alright. Your name on an old cafe wall can stay exactly where we left it. Let the years keep riding over us without pretending they erased it. Your name on an old forever isn't the only way.
2 days, 1 walk.
39 years passing by,
I didn't take the memory home.
I already had it. School was out at 3:15. Books went flying on the bed. Mom would shout, "Do your homework." I'd pretend I never heard. Billy had his brother's baseball. Tommy brought his rusty bike. By 4 o'clock, the whole neighborhood was ours until the night. Nobody owned a watch, nobody needed one. Every mother on the block said, "Be home when the street lights come on." When the street lights came on, we knew summer days were ending. One more pitch, one more bicycle race, one more minute worth pretending. When the streetlights came on, every mother called a name, and 20 kids went running home to do it all again next day. We built a fort behind the Wilsons from some boards we shouldn't take. Caught little fish down by the creek and always threw them back. We argued over everything, forgot about it by 5. No photographs to prove those afternoons, but somehow they survived. When the streetlights came on, every porch began to glow. Dinner waiting through the screen doors, and our bicycles in rows. When the streetlights came on, we complained it wasn't fair. Never knowing someday we give anything for one more evening there. Last October I drove past the neighborhood again. Wilson's house is painted yellow, the empty field is gone. Then right around 6:30, something happened down the street. One by one, the streetlights flickered on, and for half a second, I was 10. I almost heard my mother come inside. Somewhere in my memory, a boy shouted, "One more minute!" When the streetlights came on, we were young 7:42 each morning, third car from the front. You always took the window seat, I sat 2 rows behind. Gray coat through the winter, blue umbrella when it rained. Coffee in your left hand, and a book I couldn't name. We never said good morning, never learned each other's names, but somehow strangers become familiar when you see them every day. The woman on the morning train, you were part of every weekday. Passing stations, newspaper pages, winter coats and summer rain. The woman on the morning train, I never knew your life at all. Still somehow when I think of those years, you're standing somewhere in them all. Was the train stopped in a tunnel for an hour underground? You looked up from your book and smiled when someone cursed out loud. I almost said something then, something simple, long morning. But the lights came back, the train moved on, and so did we. The woman on the morning train, maybe you were heading downtown. Maybe somewhere 3 stops later, someone waited every day. The woman on the morning train, you were never really mine to miss, but memory keeps the smallest people in the strangest little way. Then one Monday you weren't there, Tuesday still empty. By Friday someone else was sitting in your seat. I wondered if you changed your job, moved away, got married, or simply started taking the 728. Eventually I stopped looking. I didn't miss you, not exactly. I miss the mornings when I expected you to be there. Maybe that's different, maybe not. The woman on the morning train, I don't wonder where you are now. I just see you through a window whenever those old years return. The woman on the morning train, you became a little sign of coffee cups and crowded platforms and a younger life of mine. We don't have to know somebody for them to stay inside a scene. Sometimes strangers hold the memory of the people we have been. Gray coat, window seat, 7:42 each week. I never knew your name, but I remember the time. At the northern edge of our little town, past Miller's wooden gate, there were rows and rows of apple trees and one road running straight. Dad said follow that long enough, you'll reach the interstate. At 12 years old I stood there thinking I'd find find out someday. Every autumn those trees turn red, every spring they bloomed again, and every year that road kept asking, when? The road beyond the apple trees was calling like a radio, past the fences, past the county, past everything I'd ever known. The road beyond the apple trees didn't promise anything. It only disappeared beyond the hill, and that was enough for me. At 23 I finally took it, with 2 bags in the back. Mom packed sandwiches for 6 hours. Dad checked every tire twice. I watched the orchard getting smaller in the rear view mirror glass, scared enough to almost turn around, but too alive to turn back. The road beyond the apple trees led to jobs I couldn't stand, tiny rooms and broken paychecks, and 1,000 different plans. The road beyond the apple trees never said the road was kind. It only taught me moving forward doesn't mean you know what you'll find. Last October I went home again. The orchard's smaller now. A supermarket takes up half the field, but some old trees survived. I walked until I found that road, still running past the hill, and laughed because after all these years, it doesn't have an ending still. I used to think the road would show me where to go. It never did. It only gave me somewhere to begin. The road beyond the apple trees still runs farther than I know. There are always other highways. There are always miles to go. The road beyond the apple trees was never really about escape. It was learning that the world gets wider every time you're brave enough to leave. Let the orchard bloom behind me. Let another kid stand there, looking down that road and wondering what's waiting somewhere past the air. Apple trees, one road, one horizon still unknown. The road never told me where I'd end. It only taught me how to start. town, past Miller's wooden gate. There were rows and rows of apple trees, and one road running straight. Dad said, follow that long enough, you'll reach the interstate. At 12 years old I stood there thinking I'd find out someday. Every autumn those trees turn red, every spring they bloomed again, and every year that road kept asking, when the road beyond the apple trees was calling like a radio. Past the fences, past the county, past everything I'd ever known.
Every night around 10:15, a piano crossed my ceiling. 7 notes and then a pause, like someone searching for an ending. At first I turned the TV louder, wondered why they played so late. Then somewhere near the second week I started turning down to wait. 7 notes, a little silence, 4 more trying to begin. Funny how an unfinished melody can slowly let a stranger in. The melody from apartment 302 always stopped before the ending. Every night the same beginning, every night the same refrain. The melody from apartment 302, I never knew who played it there, but somehow when the room went quiet I could feel it in the air. Then one Tuesday there was nothing, Wednesday sounded just the same. By Friday I was lying awake, waiting for those notes again. I almost went upstairs to ask, then thought, what would I say? So I listened to the ceiling and heard silence anyway. The melody from apartment 302 had become part of my evening, like the elevator closing, like the traffic after rain. The melody from apartment 302 wasn't mine enough to miss. Still I learned how quickly strangers can become a part of this. Saturday morning, there were boxes in the hallway. An old man stood outside 302, holding sheet music in his hand. I said, was that you playing at night? He smiled. My wife. Then after a moment, she'd been writing the same song for almost 20 years. I looked at the paper, the final measure was empty. Did she ever finish it? He shook his head, then handed me the page. Maybe it was finished. The melody from apartment 302 doesn't play above me now, but sometimes late at night I hear it, though I know there's no one there. The melody from apartment 302 never needed one more line. Maybe some songs leave a little space for someone else's life. So I never wrote the ending, never added one more note. Some melodies stay beautiful because they leave the door half open. 7 notes, 1 pause, 1 unfinished final bar. I thought the song was missing an ending. Maybe the silence was the ending.
I walked the road behind the station for the first time in 10 years. The little movie house was missing. There's a coffee shop in there. Someone changed the old street signs. The barber shop is gone, but somehow my feet remembered every corner all along. I came looking for the person I remember being here, but every window showed somebody a little older staring back. Somewhere between then and now, I became the man I'm living. Lost some dreams and found some others. Learned that leaving isn't quitting. Somewhere between then and now, all those years became my own. Maybe growing isn't losing who we were so long ago. I passed the house where Michael lived. We haven't talked since '99. The tree we carved our names into was taller than the power lines. I tried remembering what we wanted when we were 21. Funny how the future looks so endless before any of it had begun. Somewhere between then and now, there were roads I never followed. There were people I stopped calling. There were promises that changed. Somewhere between then and now, I stopped asking what went wrong. Some things aren't meant to last forever, to prove that they belong. station, I saw my reflection in the glass for half a second. I saw the boy I used to be, not his face, just something in the eyes. And I wanted to tell him he won't become who you imagine, but you'll become someone you'll eventually understand. I wouldn't go back, I wouldn't erase it. I think I'm finally somewhere between missing then and loving now. Somewhere between then and now. Every version walks beside me, every mistake and every morning left a little piece behind me. Somewhere between then and now. I don't need to choose between the person that I used to be and everything I've come to mean. Let the old streets keep on changing, let tomorrow change me too. I can carry where I've been without returning to who I knew then and now. Young and old, maybe life isn't one becoming another. Maybe we carry them both. Dinner plates were in the sink, 10:15. You were folding up the tablecloth, I was washing pens again.
Then the radio behind us
played a song from '82.
I dried my hands against the towel
and held one out to you.
I said, what are you doing?
You said, you know this song.
I said, my back is tired.
You said it won't take long.
I looked down at my slippers,
then left.
We're much too old for this.
You pulled me gently from the chair.
That's never stopped us yet.
No ballroom, no evening clothes,
just dishes waiting by the stove.
Maybe romance gets more honest when nobody else will know.
Give me one last dance in the kitchen,
bare feet turning on the floor,
one hand resting on my shoulder,
like 1,000 times before.
One last dance in the kitchen.
If tomorrow gives us more,
we'll dance another last dance then, like all the nights before.
We weren't moving like we used to.
You stepped twice upon my shoe.
You said you never learned to dance.
I said I learned to follow you.
Then we laughed so hard we stopped,
still holding one another.
And for a moment every year between
felt lighter than the others.
nothing left for us to prove.
After all these years together, I still like the way you move.
Remember our first dance?
You mean when you stepped on me?
That was you?
Still is, apparently.
Play it again?
The song?
No.
The life?
If I could,
I wouldn't change the big things.
maybe a few words.
A few doors slammed too hard.
But this
little kitchen I'd keep every night. Give me one last dance in the kitchen.
even when our steps grow slower,
Even when I need your shoulder.
more for balance than romance.
Give me one last dance in the kitchen.
Then tomorrow, one more chance.
We'll keep calling each one the last one.
So we never waste a dance.
Let the dishes wait till morning.
Let the old song play once more.
There's still room for two people on this little kitchen floor.
One song,
Two hands,
40 years learning the steps.
if this is our last dance, let's have another one tomorrow. November at the kitchen window, bare trees moving in the wind. Weather woman says tomorrow, winter finally settles in. I turned the television lower when she mentioned snow by dawn. And suddenly I heard our mother like she'd never really gone. She used to say each November, before the first snow comes, you two should stop being stubborn and remember your sisters. We'd roll our eyes, she was usually right. Before the first snow falls, I should call you. Before the rooftops turn to white, before another winter finds us still pretending we're alright. Before the first like it did before the first snow falls. Let me call you, not to fix the years between, not to make us who we once were, not to rewrite everything before the first snow falls. Let me simply say your name. Maybe love can still be waiting after anger loses shape. At 10:43, I finally pressed the number. One ring, 2, 3, then hello? I couldn't speak. You said my name again, and somehow 7 years collapsed into one word. I said, they're saying snow tomorrow. Silence. Then you left. Mom would have called both of us. I miss you. I don't remember which one of us said it first. Maybe it doesn't matter. Before the first snow falls, we are talking, not like nothing ever changed, but like two people tired of carrying all the distance and the blame. Before the first snow falls, there's still time to turn around. Not every bridge stays broken just because we burned it down. Let the morning cover rooftops, let the whole street turn to white. Tonight I got my sister back before the first snow fell. Tonight, one call, two voices, 7 winters disappearing. The snow came in the morning. We were already talking.
We were 20, maybe 21, in a car that wasn't mine. 4 old bags and 1 road map and nowhere book that night. Danny said just keep on northward. Claire said that makes no sense. And somewhere past a field of corn, the engine answered for itself.
You opened up the hood as if you knew what you were doing. Danny held a flashlight and gave advice that wasn't useful. I sat laughing on the roadside till you finally looked at me.
You could help.
I'm helping morale.
You didn't find that funny. No phone to call, no town in sight, nothing we could do. So we took the blankets from the trunk and waited for the morning. The night we slept beneath the stars, we were stranded, broken, laughing.
No hotel and no destination, just a summer field around us.
The night we slept beneath the stars, there were millions overhead.
Funny how the worst part became the best one in the end. Claire found cookies in her backpack.
Danny had a bottle of wine.
Someone tuned the old guitar.
Though nobody could play it right,
We talked about who we'd become,
like 20-year-olds always do.
and every future sounded possible underneath that endless blue.
The night we slept beneath the stars, no streetlights anywhere around us.
We could see the Milky Way stretching farther than our plan.
The night we slept beneath the stars,
We made promises till dawn.
most of them never came true.
But somehow none of that feels wrong.
Last summer, Danny sent a message.
Do you remember where we were?
Claire said, somewhere near the state line. I said, no, much farther north.
You wrote,
Does it matter?
and suddenly all four of us were 21 again.
We forgot the road, we forgot the town, we even forgot where we were going. But we remember the stars. The night we slept beneath the stars
Still comes back when nights are clear.
Four young voices in a field with no idea how we get here. The night we slept beneath the stars.
Taught us plans can fall apart.
And sometimes when the road stops moving, that's exactly where life starts.
Let me forget the destination. Let the old map disappear.
I'll remember lying in that grass
And thinking anything was near.
No road, no roof, nothing went the way we'd
We
planned.
got completely lost and found a night we'd never lose. Every morning before 7, I would cross the little square, and an old man in a brown coat would already be waiting there. Paper bag beneath his left arm, breadcrumbs resting in his hand. And somehow every bird in town seemed to know exactly we'd stand. We never spoke, he'd nod, I'd nod. That was enough somehow. Some people enter your routine without entering your life. The man who fed the birds at dawn while the city still was sleeping, never asked who might be watching, never needed to be known. The man who fed the birds at dawn left a little kindness there every morning on the pavement for the wings that fill the air. December morning, snow was gathering on the ground. I said it's much too cold for this. He smiled without turning around. They're hungry when it's cold. Then after half a minute, so are people. He broke a piece of bread in two and handed half to me. The man who fed the birds at dawn didn't tell me much about him. I never knew if someone waited in the little house he'd leave. The man who fed the birds at dawn only taught me what I saw. Sometimes care is simply showing up when nobody would know if you were gone. Then one Monday, the bench was empty. Tuesday, too. Wednesday, the birds still came. By Friday, I stopped pretending he was only late. I stood there longer than usual. No one else seemed to notice, but the birds did. The following morning, I bought a loaf of bread. I don't know why, maybe I did. The man who fed the birds at dawn wasn't standing there that morning. So I opened up the paper bag and watched the pigeons gather. The man who fed the birds at dawn never asked me to continue, but some kindness keeps on moving long after hands are gone. Now I stop there every Friday before the city wakes and leave a little something for the morning for his sake. One bench, one bag, birds gathering at dawn. I never knew his story, but I learned his habit. September came without you, quietly through the window screen. Cooler mornings, shorter evenings, leaves not quite ready to leave. I found your jacket in the hallway, where it shouldn't be anymore, and stood there holding September like I'd never seen it before. Last year you opened every window, said the summer's finally gone. Funny how the same September air can feel completely wrong. September came without you, but the morning came the same. Sunlight crossed the kitchen table like it never knew your name. September came without you, and I hated it for trying to be beautiful without you, while I was still learning goodbye. The market had the apples that you always used to buy. I reached for two without thinking, then put one back this time. The woman at the flower stand asked why I came alone. I said he's not with me anymore. She nodded, nothing more. Some kindness doesn't need an answer, some sorrow doesn't need explaining. Sometimes all another person does is let the silence stay. September came without you, with the first leaves turning gold. Every street we walked together looked familiar, looked too old. September came without you, but somewhere through the ache I began to understand the seasons aren't to One evening near the end of September, I took our usual road. Not because I wanted memories, I simply wanted air. At the corner where you'd always stop to watch the maple trees, one red leaf fell beside me, and for the first time I didn't cry. I picked it up, then changed my mind. Some things are more beautiful when we let them fall. September came without you, and somehow I came through. Not by leaving you behind me, not by learning not to miss you. September came without you, and October will come too. Maybe It rained against my window almost all the night. I watched the water drawing little rivers through the light. There were words I couldn't answer, there were things I couldn't change. So I stayed awake till morning, listening to the rain. Then somewhere close to 7, the tapping slowly disappeared. And in the sudden silence, I heard the city reappear. The morning after the rain, sunlight falling on the pavement, every window holding pieces of a newly opened day. The morning after the rain, nothing broken disappeared, but somehow everything looked different when the sky began to clear. The cafe on the corner put its tables out again. A woman shook an umbrella, though there wasn't any rain. Someone laughed beside the bus stop, a bicycle rolled by, and puddles held the buildings in another piece of sky. I thought the world might wait for me until I felt okay, but morning never asks permission, it simply starts the day. The morning after the rain, there's still water in the gutters. There are clouds above the rooftops, but they're opening to blue. The morning after the rain, I don't need to feel brand new. Maybe starting over only means doing one small thing you couldn't do. The door and finally put it on. Nothing dramatic happened, no revelation came. I just turned the handle and stepped outside into the morning after the rain. The street was still wet, so was I, a little. But the sun was out, and that was enough. The morning after the rain, I can hear the city waking. Every step across the pavement feels like something rearranging. The morning after the rain, I don't have to know the way. I can carry what still hurts me and still walk into the day. Let the clouds keep moving eastward, let the to begin again as me. Wet streets, blue sky, one door opening outside. The rain didn't change my life, the morning didn't either. I did.
It stood beside the staircase long before I came along. 3 brass weights and wooden numbers, and a slow, familiar song. Grandpa wounded every Sunday with a little silver key. And every hour that old clock told us exactly where we'd be. It rang through Christmas mornings. It rang the year my father died. It rang when both our children left their childhood rooms behind. Sometimes no one even heard it. Sometimes we'd complain, but every hour it kept returning, again
and again
and again
and again.
We thought the clock was counting all the years that disappeared. Maybe it was only standing there while we were living them. The day the old clock stopped, nothing else stopped with it. Cars kept moving down the street. The afternoon went on. The day the old clock stopped, I kept waiting for the chime. Then suddenly the silence showed me a clock doesn't carry time. The repairman came on Tuesday, took the wooden panel down, shook his head and said the mechanism couldn't easily be found. I asked, "Can you make it run?" He said, "Maybe, given time." I almost laughed. The one thing that we needed was the one thing it couldn't find. That evening I sat near it at 9:15. For the first time in my memory, the house wasn't keeping time. Then my granddaughter ran downstairs, laughing in her socks. Was looking at the clock. Maybe that's what time is.
Not numbers,
not hands,
not something ticking on a wall.
Maybe time is simply
who was there
while it was passing. The day the old clock stopped, the house kept filling up with living. Doors kept opening and closing. Someone left upstairs. The day the old clock stopped, I finally understood. It never held the years inside it, even when we thought it could. Let its hands stay where they ended. Let the silence have its place. Every hour that mattered most is written somewhere else.
2 hands, 1 time.
417 forever. we didn't. This town in different years, with different dreams to chase. Some went looking for the world, some never left this place. We learned how plans can disappear, how quickly seasons turn. But every road that took us far left something to return.
Tonight we're sitting at the table where we used to waste our time. Older faces, slower laughter, same old stories, different lives.
Someone asks about the old days, someone raises up a glass.
And suddenly the years between us don't feel quite so vast.
We can't go back, we don't need to. We brought every year along.
Maybe home is not the place we left,
but where we still belong. Where all the old roads meet, I'll meet you there again.
bring the miles you've traveled,
Bring the places you have been. Where all the old roads meet, nothing has to be the same.
we can change 1,000 times and still remember one another's names.
Some found love and some lost everything.
Some started over twice,
Some dreams became our living.
some were better left behind.
We carry different photographs,
Different scars beneath our sleeves,
but somewhere underneath them all,
we're still the kids who used to dream.
maybe growing older
Isn't leaving things behind.
maybe it's discovering what survived the passing time. Where all the old roads meet, I'll meet you there again.
Past the summers, past the winters, past the lives we couldn't plan.
Where all the old roads meet, let the distance disappear.
Every road that took us somewhere somehow brought us back to here.
Do you remember saying
Nothing here would ever change
we were wrong?
about almost everything.
Maybe not everything.
You still laugh the same,
You still tell that terrible story
and you still interrupt it.
because you still tell it wrong. No, we aren't who we were, and it's alright.
Every year added something.
Every loss took something.
Every road changed us.
But somehow,
Not beyond recognition.
where all the old roads meet,
Come and sit beside me.
there's another chair waiting.
There's another story left.
Where all the old roads meet. Let tomorrow wait tonight. We spent half our lives becoming
Who we're sitting with tonight.
where all the old roads meet.
Raise your glass and sing along.
For the people who are with us,
And the ones who couldn't come.
where all the old roads meet. Every distance disappears,
We didn't take the same road.
but every road brought us here.
Where all the old roads meet.
All the summers,
All the winters.
every place that we called home,
Every leaving. Every finding.
every road we walked alone.
Where all the old roads meet.
Nobody walks alone. Different roads,
Different lives.
same table tonight.
Saturday at 9 o'clock. You were staring at the ceiling. I said we've been doing nothing for so long, it's getting tiring.
You said, what do you suggest? I threw a sweater in a bag.
Get your shoes.
Where are we going?
No idea.
20 minutes later, we were standing at the station.
You walked straight up to the counter like you had a reservation.
Then you asked the man behind it.
Where's the next train going?
He said, a town I never heard of.
You smiled.
2 tickets.
No hotel, no map, no reason to be there.
Sometimes somewhere starts becoming interesting when you don't care.
2 tickets to somewhere, anywhere the rails are running. 2 tickets to somewhere, before we talk ourselves from going.
Oh,
No plans, no reservations, no list of things to see. Just 2 tickets to somewhere, and you sitting next to me.
the town had one old movie theater.
And a diner painted blue.
We ordered something we couldn't pronounce.
And pretended that we knew.
It started raining after dinner,
So we ran beneath one coat.
and somehow getting completely soaked was better than staying
2
home.
tickets to somewhere, we don't even need the name. Every unfamiliar corner,
said, should we head back?
I looked up at the departures board.
There's another train at 10.
Where does it go?
Does it matter?
2 tickets.
Again?
Again.
Again!
2 tickets to somewhere. Now the whole world feels inviting. 2 tickets to somewhere. No need knowing where we're arriving. Oh, let the rails decide the direction. Let the morning choose the view. Every somewhere becomes somewhere when I get there next to you. 2 tickets to somewhere.
Maybe somewhere isn't far.
Maybe somewhere is just anywhere.
We remember who we are. Whoa!
1 bag, 2 seats.
Next train leaving down the
We
line.
didn't need a destination. We needed to leave on time.
There wasn't one big moment, no suitcase by the door.
Just 1,000 little silences.
That weren't there before.
Dinner became television.
Questions became, I'm fine.
We were sleeping inches from each other, living separate lives.
I thought keeping everything together meant the bills were always paid. Roof was fixed, the car kept running. Kids had everything they needed. I never saw how far you'd gone while standing next to me.
Until one night you said, I don't know if you still see me.
Sometimes love doesn't disappear.
Sometimes it gets buried under everything else. That was the year we almost lost each other.
Not because we stopped believing.
But because we stopped remembering.
Love needs more than simply staying.
The year we almost lost each other.
We learned holding on means more.
And 2 people sharing keys to the same front door.
We started walking after dinner.
At first we barely spoke.
Some nights ended in an argument.
Some nights ended in a joke.
We said things we'd been hiding,
Heard things we didn't like.
and slowly
Started finding the 2 people underneath our lives. That was the year we almost lost each other.
when forever stopped being easy.
When we learned that all love still needs
Someone choosing it each evening.
the year we almost lost each other.
Didn't end with one embrace.
We rebuilt it in 100 ordinary little ways. I almost packed.
You never asked me to stay.
I was afraid you'd say no.
I was afraid.
You wouldn't ask.
Stay.
I did. Not because everything was fixed.
Not because everything was forgiven.
We stayed because there was still something worth repairing. That was the year we almost lost each other.
Now I don't wish that year away.
It taught us love is not a promise
That survives without being made.
The year we almost lost each other.
Made us learn to choose again.
Not the people we were 30 years ago, but who we're becoming now.
Let tomorrow bring its troubles.
Let us disagree sometimes.
As long as when the room gets quiet.
We don't disappear inside.
Same house.
Same two hearts.
Learning how to start again. We didn't save our old marriage.
We built a new one together.